process. We're going to talk specifically today about the market section. So if I think about markets, 20 years ago, why we're doing this series of videos, the property wows, the workout of the weeks, is because investing today, if I had to do it, would be very different the way I did it 20 years ago. There's some revision that's happened in my foray as a property investor, and this is what we're going to go through. So previously, I only used to look at Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, and Brisbane as the four capital city markets because there was enough property in those that I could buy, and the markets were, each of them would perform separately. Now, the reason they perform separately and their market cycles are out of sync predominantly is to do with what drives an economy within those. So we think of Melbourne and Sydney. Melbourne and Sydney are usually similar with their market cycles. What drives them both is the business economy. Now, both have strong business economies, but Sydney's is stronger. So what you'll tend to find is we use Sydney as a lead market indicator. The business economy is stronger there, so the Sydney usually goes, and then what we do is we look at Melbourne and start buying into Melbourne. Perth and Brisbane often work different to all the other capital city markets and different to each other. They're primarily driven by tourism and mining, so jobs is what drives those. So, as you know, and this is going back probably 10 years ago now, mining properties were the flavour of the month. Now these will come back again when the mining booms happen again and then boom and bust. But this comes out because when a mine contract is disclosed, what occurs is there's a huge amount of influx of population that comes into town to build the infrastructure to support the mine contract. Now the property spruikers will promote that the mining contract's 25 years, come and buy property in this mining town because the contract's 25 years. The problem is the influx of people required to build the infrastructure usually lasts 2 to 3 years, and then 70% of the population leave town. So when it comes to mining property, understand there'll be boom and bust. And the easier way to understand this is, imagine one of our major capital cities, what would happen if 70% of the population left? The property prices would take a dive. So stick clear. But choosing the right market to work within, I've now opened this up to some smaller city markets based on the fact that you can get micro markets within our states. Now, I'm very specific about this. So our acquisition team and team of data scientists that do this daily, this is some of the criteria that we look at. So cities with 200,000 people plus. What we look at is to ensure that these cities are not exceeding 1 hour commute from over 500,000 jobs. We need to make sure that these cities are within 500,000 jobs. They have an urban growth boundary. Now, an urban growth boundary is designed to limit supply. Urban, metro to regional, or low density to medium to high density. So that's what an urban growth boundary is. There's the outskirts, and then there's within. We have broad work options, i.e. it's not 2 top sectors can't exceed 30% of all the jobs, and the top 5 can't exceed 55%. Now, there's method in the madness that we've been very specific about ensuring there's diverse employment. The economy has a participation rate of 60% plus. Now, what that means is the economy has 60% of the people within it who work. You can get some of these cities which have large amounts of retirees. Now, retirees are great, I love them, going to be one day, but most don't bid up sales prices. They renovate their homes, add value, eventually sell, and too many sales can flood the market, which is why we look for a participation rate. Now, what we look at is to avoid risk in a capital city market is growth trends. So once again, I've got the check sheets in here to keep you safe, but the last 2 years of median growth price, if we've had the last 2 years of growth, which has been astronomical, then you can usually tell, and we'll go through market cycles in one of these videos and understand market cycles, but you can look at each of the capital city markets and look for the ones that are really peaking out and consider whether they're going to come back. We want a constant population growth, 1.4% per year. Now, this data you can get from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, abs.gov.au. It's a horrendously terrible website, but the data in there is amazing. You have got a function in there where you can request data, and they're good at getting back to you, but just searching around on it is pretty tough. You want an unemployment rate. Now, we're not looking for a specific unemployment rate. We just want to know if one of the capital city markets is dramatically worse than the other. And then we want to understand where the current market is sitting, whether it's in a boom, correction, stagnation, or recovery, and explain these in great detail so you can understand. And then we tick off whether it's a viable market. So like we said, we've got lots of options when we're buying property. But if, for example, this might not be what I'm doing at the moment, but if we can cross out, for example, capital city markets that are not great for investment at this point in time, well then we're left with only markets, and we've reduced the amount of properties that we then need to investigate. So hopefully you understand now how to reduce capital city markets, which is getting you one step closer to the best investment. Next time we're going to go through the area